Other news now, and the recent severe weather conditions have caused much concern and uncertainty among farmers as the planting season approaches. Predictions do indicate above normal rainfall for most of the northeastern summer rainfall regions during the entire summer period, but some interior regions have still had below average rainfall during the mid and late summer seasons. Newzroom Afrika's Silethiwe Ndlovu joins us now. Silethiwe, good morning. We all know that farmers need rain, and they're slightly concerned about what is going to happen.
That's quite right, Stephen. They are quite concerned. And in fact, that climate advisory has worsened some of the anxiety and worries that they have, particularly because, some of them are still trying to recover from those bad weather conditions that we saw a couple of weeks ago when we had that snow. You will remember that it was reported that a lot of small-scale farmers were impacted during that snow. Some of them even reporting that there was an impact in terms of meeting their profit margins. This was also, supported or rather echoed by the KZN agriculture spokesperson Vusi Zuma, who stated that a lot of money was lost during that time due to the fact that a lot of farmers were just about to harvest their crops when we saw that snow. So this climate advisory that has now just been released has caused more concern, more worry and more anxiety among some of the farmers that we have here in KZN. In fact, right now I am joined by one of those farmers, Sibongiseni Mdlalose, who is going to talk to us about some of the worries that he has. I think firstly, let's start off with, the impact on your farm when you saw not just the snow, but also the changing weather conditions that we've been seeing recently.
Well, thank you so much. I think the biggest challenge is to affect the quality of the production. Because when you plant for the markets. So you measure and you project that at this time, if it's a 3 months, 4 months cycle crop, at that particular time, you're going to have to produce and supply the markets. So it's had a negative impact because now, in a percentage, I couldn't meet up to 50% of what I need to supply to the markets. And it's a challenge because it now affects the next cycle of selling as well. But mainly, you need to meet up the minimum things that you need to do to be able to use that profit to sustain. You need to buy seedlings, you need to buy implements to be able to do the work. So I think financially that was one issue. But in terms of the soil as well, the quality of the soil, it's bad. You can't work. The soil is way too wet. It's muddy. You cannot be able to remove the weed on time. Cannot be able to turn the soil on time. So those things affect the time which you can harvest. And that's quite bad.
Let's talk about your worries and your concerns in terms of the climate advisory that was released a couple of days ago. You mentioned to us that you have spinach, cabbage, potatoes here in your farm. What are your concerns looking at, the season that we're just about to go to?
One was planning that at least December, one is able to sell quite a lot. And eventually then the delays caused by the changing of this climate to harsh conditions. One, it damages the actual crop that is existing on the field. Secondly, you cannot be able to try to replace the crop that was in there because you have to wait for the weather to be able to clear up before you start working. And that's a serious challenge, the quality. But, in the point of view as well of the consumer, because we're in business, but business is about solving problems of the community. The prices now becomes extremely higher of the same crops because most of the spinach, cabbages, potatoes got wasted.
When you are looking at some of the advice that was given, it was stated that you should look into planting short season cultivators. Is that something that you are looking into considering the changing weather conditions?
Well, that is one part of a solution. But you know, the challenge about these advices sometimes is it's come with costs. And as farmers, we're not majorly or well funded. And that's a problem. So they suggest a solution, it's fine. But there need to be also very positive suggestion in terms of making it easier for us to get funding so that we can be able to complement these particular problems that you are talking about. Because they need money, you know. You're going to have a different type of implements that you're going to put in the fertilizers, etc. And literally speaking as well, we need to do more of organic type of fertilizers to avoid problems like the one that we saw these days. The children get killed by the same chemicals.
Yes, those are what the allegations are saying. But I think let's end off by talking about the season in terms of selling your crops. In terms of looking into the future, when you look at the overall scope of agriculture, do you think that it's going to perform well, or do you think that it's not going to perform well, considering the changing weather conditions that we are seeing?
It depends. It's a very difficult question. It depends. If you have enough resources to get or to buy this particular alternative example, one can use hydroponic system here and cover the entire place. But it comes with a lot of cost. So the minimum we can use is to try to do basic type of stuff. Like example, as you can see here, I use farrows. Farrows are used effectively to control the floods. So there's a minimum impact in terms of the actual plants here. So it depends on the resources you have, you know. Depends on the resources you have.
Okay. Thank you so much for speaking to us this morning. That was Sibongiseni Mdlalose, a farmer that we have here in Ashdown, in a township that is in Pietermaritzburg. As you can see behind me, he does have, quite various crops here. You're looking at cabbages, you're looking at spring onions. He has spinach, strawberries, and he also has strawberries and spinach rather. So the issue that he is mentioning, Stephen, is the fact that they would like to see more or rather get more funding from the government in order to mitigate some of the problems that they are facing here. You did also hear him mention the fact that one of the solutions that he has is to try and to control some of those floods. Again, just speaking to the desperation that is faced by some of those farmers during these changing weather conditions. He also mentioned the prices. You will remember that it was reported, as I stated, that a lot of farmers, were impacted by that snow and these changing weather conditions over the past few weeks in terms of their profit margins. So some of the details coming from that conversation is the fact that he would like to get more funding, not just only for him, but also for other farmers, just so that, they can be able to produce more crops that they can sell to different markets.
Silethiwe Ndlovu for that live update. Thank you very much indeed. Just a reminder, of course, of how important grain is to farmers in the situation that they're facing. Let's update